Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Energize Your Online Business podcast. Hey there, Kate.
Hello, hello.
Hello. And actually, I'm going to go right ahead and turn over the reins to Kate today because she
Yes.
is going to interview me.
Turn them over. So we thought it would be helpful to give Nikki's background and her story because the reason the circuit sales system exists is because Nikki created it. And I think we alluded to this on the last episode in the sense that there are a lot of digital marketing gurus out there who are teaching things that they've never actually done themselves, which is completely not the case here. And I think the other key thing with your story is, and where we should really start, is that this circuit sales system was not created in a vacuum in the sense that you didn't create a course to sell courses out of the gate. You did it because you had a course to sell and were doing all of these tactics that people were telling you to do, live launching, evergreen. You tried it all. So I think that's the first place I would love to start with how you got into course creation, start from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Then how do we get here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, and here we are right now, today, we are a multi-brand online training company, which is exciting. It makes me feel very important. Um,
You
but
are very important. Very
oh,
important.
thank you.
Yeah.
As are you.
Thank you.
But when I started my online business in 2012, I actually started with a course to teach people to become professional copywriters because that's my background and, of course, your background as well. I've been a professional copywriter for more than 20 years at this point. I always say I've written for multi-billion-dollar brands. I've written for solopreneurs and every size business in between. But in the way that I learned a lot of it was certainly learned on the job, but a lot of it, my dad was a marketing director and he taught me in high school and actually a little bit beyond high school. The problem is that there actually aren't a lot of resources for copywriters, or I should say for writers, to learn copywriting. You can't major in it in college. I was aware at the time of like one other program, one online program, and it was kind of cruddy. They were teaching people to write stuff that nobody actually used in real life. So I thought, this is it's such a great field, copywriting, and it's so essential for business. Right? I know any business owner who has struggled with their own writing and thought, God, I wish I could get some help with this. And then also too, there is a dearth of skilled copywriters out there. Unfortunately, there are a fair number of people who are out there as they mean like, I'm a copywriter, I can write, but who don't actually know how to write copy. And I don't want to go too far off on a tangent, but that is part of one of my passions as well, is educating online business owners or business owners in general about what to look for when you're hiring a copywriter. But anyway, so in 2012, I created a program to teach people how to write copy and how to build professional copywriting businesses and all that entailed. Certainly writing copy, but building portfolios, how to reach out to potential clients and be a partner to them in every way that they should be. And and I think probably this is definitely a mark of a new business owner, and I think a lot of people have been here too. But I kind of was like, "This is a great program. I'm just going to put it out there, and then people are going to buy it, and it'll be
If
great.
you build it, they will
If you
come.
build it, they will come." And obviously, that is not what happened. That is not what ever happens. I think I put it out there, and I don't know. There was like some guy that was emailing it very quickly. I was like, oh, I don't think this guy's not legit, and maybe even a little bit weird. And so I realized that I was going to have to figure out some way to actually sell this program.
And yeah, so I know a lot of CSS students have gone through this, and I know you've also gone through this where you have that moment of, do I continue? Like, I have a great product. I know it's great. I know people can benefit from this, but do I continue on with this because this is just eating up so much of your time, energy, heart, soul, all of it. So can you speak to kind of what kept you going? What kept you motivated?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's very frustrating and very daunting when you put something together and it's great and you put it out in the world and very few people buy it, or they don't come running like you kind of thought they would. And it really was because some people did purchase and had success with the program. Like I knew it was a good program. I put in everything that I knew about copywriting, and quite frankly, in the 10 years since then, we have kept adding to the program. It is we call it the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy, and it is
Yeah.
comprehensive.
I mean, quite
Um,
frankly, I wouldn't be here without what I call Beta CCA, the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy. So it does work. It works.
yes. But it was really because there were a few early students that wrote into me and said, "Hey, I just wanted you to know, the one that always comes to mind is certainly one of the very first students who sent me an email and said, "Hey, I just wanted you to know that I just lost my job." She was working somewhere, and I lost my job, but I have been able to support myself because of what you taught in copywriting, or it taught in the CCA, in the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy. And I also then just landed a full-time freelance role, full-time contract role at one of the Leo Burnett, I believe, which is one of the
Mhm.
biggest advertising agencies in the world. She was in Chicago, and it was so affirming to hear that and go, all right, and I know that certainly other business owners have had that same experience where you're starting to go, I don't know, is this even worth it? Should I even bother? Is it even a real thing that you can sell courses online? Like you hear about it, but is that really real? And that affirmed to me that what I had to offer was something that people wanted and that people needed it.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of part of what kept me going through all of the years when I couldn't quite figure out how to get this in front of people, really.
Mhm. Yeah. So, can you talk about some of the ways that you tried to get in front of people? Ways that maybe didn't work, and kind of what was your real breaking point of like,
Yeah.
okay,
Hmm.
I've got to block out all of this that I've been listening to.
Yeah, all the ways. Truly. And I think this is also common with a lot of business owners, is because there is so much like, well, you have to do this and you have to do this and you have to try this. And I mean, I first of all, I played with the price a ton. I'd increase it, I'd decrease it, because maybe it's the price, maybe it's all of that kind of thing. I tried challenges, I tried live launches, I tried email funnels, I tried or more evergreen kind of fun. I tried taking it from a course and making it a membership, and then the membership I was having to create additional content every single month on top of that. And it just I tried all of the things that people were talking about. I was trying, and all of it was falling flat. Nothing was connecting, and it was so frustrating and so dispiriting because I knew that what I put together was really good. And I knew now I had evidence that it would benefit people, but I couldn't figure out how to deliver it to them in a way that would inspire them, that would get them excited, and that would get them to take action. Right? Those are the three magical points, and I would get like one or two of the three with all these kinds of things. And I think, I don't even know if it was one specific breaking point, so much as me just spending a lot of 2018 um, in that place of frustration, in that place of going, I know this could work. I know this has got to be possible. And in fact, I spent like essentially I spent $700 on a coaching call with a business coach just to ask the question, is it actually possible to have an online business where I sell courses, where I run ads or I do social and they come and they buy the courses? And of course she was like, well, yeah, it is. But like I needed that validation to be like, eh. um, and really it was in 2018 where I started to go, okay, if it's possible for anyone, then it's possible for me, and I
Mhm.
can figure this out. And I started to focus on what I know, which is I'm a copywriter. I know messaging. and I know the customer journey. And because I've spent so many years learning about companies' target audiences and seeing what they experience, I also know a lot about customer psychology and the customer journey and all of that kind of stuff. And I also knew what I wanted and what I didn't want in my business. I did not want to do live launches. I did not want to do, I don't think it's as big now, but it used to be like everybody had to have a free Facebook group to nurture them. And you had to go into the free Facebook group every day and interact with them there and answer questions. And I just would think, I don't have time to be running my business. How am I going to have time to get in this Facebook group with people who aren't even purchasing? I'm supposed to give away stuff for free. So I will joke sometimes about being a lazy entrepreneur, because they would list all this stuff and I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do a free Facebook group. I don't want to do this live challenge. I don't want to do all this stuff. Now, obviously I joke about it because I'm
Far
certainly
from lazy, friends.
not
Yes.
lazy. But I didn't want to
That's
do.
not why you got into business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do the live launches, and I wanted to find a system that I could set up and let it run and let it sell for me, but also that would sell to people on their timeline when they were ready to purchase. And we talk a lot about the customer excitement, right? And catching them when they are most excited. And I wanted to set up a system that would deliver my very best offer when they were the most excited, and give them that opportunity. And then if they don't purchase then to give them the opportunity later to rebuild that excitement and to give them the opportunity later on. But I wanted it to all happen. I knew that there had to be a way to make it all happen automatically, to build it with. And how I knew it was because I would, and I know everybody sends, we send out mass emails, and we send, but every time I would send out a mass email, not a mass email, to my list, I would always be getting people like emailing back as if I had personally written that email to them. And it just, and I'm sure plenty of other listeners have had that same experience. It just validated to me that for my audience, it didn't make a difference that it wasn't live, right?
Mm-hmm.
It didn't make a difference that I had scheduled that email multiple days in advance. And it didn't make a difference that I wasn't talking to them in that moment live on video if I was sending a video that I had pre-recorded, as long as the content in that video was good and my energy was good, just as if I were live. It didn't make a difference to them. So knowing that, I knew that I could put something together that would have the excitement of a live launch without having to do it live. And also I could make it accessible to people on their schedule when they want it, all that kind of thing. So that was kind of the what was dawning on me in 2018,
Mm-hmm.
and piecing that together to create a new system, something different from what anybody was doing.
Yeah, so I'm curious, and I know you mentioned price earlier, of playing around with the price, and it's just funny to hear, because if the messaging's right, people are going to buy at any price point if you can convey the value of
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously messaging is a huge component to the circuit sales system, what is now the circuit sales system that you built, but obviously in 2018 you didn't have a name for it. So can you talk to kind of when you first started implementing it that year, and what started to happen, and kind of to walk us through 2019 and 2020 and beyond?
Yeah, exactly. So I put the system in place, and obviously, we've made tweaks to and added things onto
Mm-hmm.
it, and what we call enhancements, and
Mm-hmm.
another thing that we teach in CSS. But I put it into place in like October of 2018, and at the end of, and I think the price point at that point was $497 for fast action and $597 for the regular price at that point back
Mm-hmm.
then. We've increased it since, and this is for the copywriting course, the comprehensive copywriting
Mm-hmm.
course. That's the only thing I was selling at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I say I because it was before I had a team.
Yeah.
Before, but in 2018, starting the sales system in the end of 2018, I made $40,000 that year
Hey.
from the business. Yes, which was the most that I had made before. I think it was like 28 higher, 28 in previous years. So $40,000 was the first I made. It was the most I made at that point. And in 2019, now that I had the system in, I could focus on getting the traffic. I didn't have to worry about the, well, I have to do this event, and I had all I had to do was to focus on getting people into what we now call the circuit. And so so things started to ramp up. And so in 2019, I made, or the business made, to a little over $268,000, which is a nice jump from 40,000 to 268,000. And then in 2020, we made 1.6 million. So the math between 40,000 in 2018 and 1.6 million in 2020 is we 40x'd. We increased the revenue 40 times over the course of just about 2 years, which is massive growth.
Yeah.
And of course, since then we have continued. We don't increase it 40 times over every 2 years. I think that would be very difficult to manage, but we have steadily increased it, and now
We're not in 2024 yet.
That's
Hey,
true.
I mean,
That's very true. That's very true. But and then now, of course, we've added other brands, and so we are a multi 7-figure per year company. But yeah, it was tremendous amount of growth, and tremendously exciting, and tremendously validating, and literally all because I put that selling system in place.
Well, and so I want to, mentioning the multi brands, Comprehensive Copywriting Academy, running on a circuit, then built a circuit for Fired Up Freelance, which was the second brand to be on a circuit.
Yep.
Before then creating the program to sell the circuit sales system to other entrepreneurs, which is the system that these other two brands have been running on and proven on. I do want to ask you though about I think it was end of 2019, as you saw that clearly the circuit was working, and then this was just running on autopilot. What that then allowed you to do, because I know you brought on first team member in toward the end of 2019. And so I guess what throughout obviously end of 2018, beginning of 2019, what was going through your mind of like kind of the opportunities that this circuit was now unlocking for you?
Yeah. Now, at that point, when I started to understand that my revenue was going to be predictable, and that, I was doing a lot of organic, and then I started adding ads into the mix, and then I would see that which is, it's certainly, business owners can do what they want to. They're not essential. If you want to get really big, I would say ads are something to look into. But I would find, as I dialed up the number of people going into the circuit, then the amount that I would make. So I was watching it scale, but scale very predictably. If you look on a day to day, there would be some big spike that day and a littler spike that day. But as you look over the course of the year, it's really just scaling in a very predictable way. And what that allowed me to do was to have a really good sense of how much I was actually going to be making, or I should say the company is going to be making, as I scaled up, which then also let me step back and go, okay, I'm a one-woman team, and that was fine when I was, making 28,000 or 40,000, and even really making it 268. But as we get bigger, I can't be the one person doing all of this. So it allowed me to step back and go, okay, I can see how much I'm going to make in this month. So I know that I can bring on a team member and absorb that cost of the team member and not have a problem at all. And so the first team member I brought on was Julie, who's still with us. She is actually, she's listening right now because she's our media producer. So she, edits our media and puts it all together and makes it fabulous. But originally I brought her on to do customer service, because that was the first thing that I needed off my plate because of the the amount of energy that it took for me to answer customer service and, to respond to comments on the negative comments. The positive
The
comments are
late night,
fantastic.
middle of the night
Exactly.
ad
The
comments. Yeah.
troll comments on ads, and that was the first thing that I knew energetically I needed off my plate, because it left me feeling so much lighter and feeling so much better about focusing on the business. And then I brought you on the team to help me coach our copywriting students, and then we brought just a variety of different people on, and a variety of fantastic people. I have to say, we have an A team of people. And I've been able to do that because I know exactly where the business is going. If I put in X, I'm going to get Y. So I can see, all right, yeah, we can absolutely move. You know what, we should, if we're going to do this, we're going to want to, these are tasks that, that's going to be too much for so-and-so to do. So we're going to need an additional resource. Can we bring in a freelancer to do this? Yes, we can, because we can see exactly where we're going. So the ability to plan ahead has been phenomenal. And we bring Caitlin, Kate has gone from being the copywriting coach to the marketing manager of Nicki K Media. That's our umbrella company name. And we also brought on Caitlin, who's our operations manager, and she manages operations and systems, and but she also looks at her finances, as do I, of course. But when we have our call with our accountants every month, Caitlin will say, all right, this is what we're thinking the number is going to be, or, and they will always, then we'll always look at the previous month, and they'll be like, yeah, you guys were right on. We don't see this with other companies, that you almost exactly what you're going to be making. And the reason is because, yes, we know what it's going to, we know what it's not, things can happen, certainly, but by and large, we know what's going to happen, and that allows us to plan and to scale and to know what the company is going to look like, and to add more brands. And we're a 3-brand company right now. We certainly intend to add more, and that's the nice thing too about the system, is that the system can work with anything, right? It works with our copywriting course, it works with our freelancing course. It obviously it sells itself, and our circuit sells it, but we are already planning on adding additional ones, because we know how to sell them. We know that we have the content to create courses that people will want and need, and we also, selling them it's almost the easy part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and quite frankly, I feel like it's funny, because the circuit was what allowed us, or what allowed you, I should say, to build a team that could then help build the circuit sales system course, because you built the comprehensive copywriting academy in the freelance success framework basically on your own, with doing, sure, hiring, design help as needed, but to build this circuit sales system, had a team, which is really cool.
Yeah. Well, and I had kind of had it in the back of my head that maybe it was something that we should create a course about the system that I had created. But it was really when I was in a mastermind at the time, and some of my other, business friends and associates were saying, hey, that thing that you talk about all the time, I'd really like to learn how to do that. When are you going to start selling that? And I finally said, all right, maybe now's the time. Maybe this is a good idea to help other people do this. And you're exactly right. It's because we have the team in place that I was able to go from, or we were able to go from me saying, hey guys, I think it's the time. People really want this, and I know that we could have a huge impact. From that moment to when we launched it was about 6 months, which is crazy, because it is a very robust program. There is a lot in it. The video, the modules, the videos are generally short, but they are packed with information. We have resources in there. And then, of course, on top of that, we had to create a circuit to sell the circuit sales system. So we had to not just create the course, but also create the circuit, which is what we call it, that would sell the circuit sales system. So the fact that we were able to launch that in 6 months is amazing. We say launch, which is
I
a
was gonna
little bit of
say,
a
yeah.
misnomer. We
Yeah.
really just kind of, we flip the
Flip the
switch. We
switch.
turn
Yeah.
it on, right? We let people in. Um, it's incredible. And now we have this team and we have the systems as well so that we can do that again. You know, we've started working on our next one, and we will be able to do it in that same time frame, if not maybe even a little bit less, because we learned from the last one. So it's the possibilities that when you don't have to worry about selling, the possibilities that open up are tremendous in terms of people that you can bring onto your team, the team members who are amazing, and things that you can do and promotions that you can try. And and we do
To say the events that we do now.
exactly, we
Yeah.
do events for our students, free events, free to our students, especially in the copywriting and freelance. And we're looking at stuff for our CSS students. Don't worry, we're always planning. But we can do free events that don't bring us in any money, because we know it's going to help our students and we want them to be successful. And we don't have to. I know so many people who they're like, well, I have to do this event, but I have to charge for it because otherwise it's not worth my time, even though I know they need it. We have the luxury and the privilege of being able to do free events for our students that we know will help them, but not and making them free, because we don't need to be like, oh, how are we going to get that money to make up for the time that we're spent doing that? It's already coming in. It's not something we have to be concerned about. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'd love if you could speak to just the impact of being able to create and sell these programs. So obviously the impact that you've been able, and I know you have to now toot your own horn. I feel like I should be doing this part for you, but you've obviously had an incredible impact with the Copywriting Academy and thousands of students who have gone through and quite literally changed lives, but now also being able to help other entrepreneurs sell their programs, which are impacting lives in so many ways. And just how cool is that?
The answer, very cool.
Really cool.
Yes. Yeah, no, it's funny. I will talk sometimes about starting my business, and I think maybe it's a little bit different for different kinds of businesses. But when I was starting the copywriting course, I was just thinking about like, well, I'm going to teach people how to become copywriters. It didn't occur to me, or it didn't register with me that it would impact people to the level that it has. And it has been the greatest delight and the greatest privilege and the greatest honor, um, that our courses do have that kind of impact, that it does truly, that they do truly change lives. With the copywriting course and the freelancing course, we have, and I say we because it's certainly a team effort, the whole Nicki K Media team. But we have people say, like, I never thought I would make more than X amount. Now I make twice that in a year. Or even just, I never thought I'd be able to write for a living. Or there's one student in the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy who tells us that she and her family used to be on food stamps, and they just bought their own home. It's and then of course too, we have people who are like, I'm making X amount. It's certainly not just about the money that you make. It's, I have more time to spend with my kids. I get to be home with my kids. We have one student that that retired her husband. She's making so much money that she's able to bring her husband home, and now he's helping her with the business. And it's true. We have in the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy, which is just one of our brands, but certainly the I'm just going to say oldest. I don't like that word oldest, but it's our longest term. Um, we have, if we haven't yet, we're just about to hit 10,000 students that we have
Mm-hmm.
that we have impacted. And then obviously we're scaling up both the freelance course and then also the circuit sales system as well. And it's the same kind of thing with the circuit sales system. Is, I have the opportunity to talk to our CSS students, and talking to people who are in the same place that I was, right? That I know I have something good, and I know that this will benefit people, but I can't figure out how to get it to them. And I tried the launches because everybody says you have to do the launches, and I can't do it anymore. And I was talking to one woman who was saying that, yeah, I was doing the live launch. She said, I did a live launch once, and my kids were sick. They were throwing up in the back room, but I had to be on that line. Like, what kind of a decision is that to have to make? Like, to be on on camera because you have to make money for your business, because if you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it, or to be back like comforting your children who are like, just, it's terrible decision to have to make, and nobody should have to make that decision, or make that choice between the two. And then, just people were saying, we were just talking to someone the other day who was saying she live launched every single week, or maybe not every single, like 46 or
Yeah, I was
47.
48 out of 52 weeks or whatever it was. Yeah.
She didn't take vacation. She and her husband would go, and she'd be like, great, have a good time. I need to be in the room, and I need to be live launching. And she was live launching every week. And now, turning that off with CSS, she's going to be making at least, talking through her numbers, I think she's going to make even more than she thinks she will, but she's going to at least 5 or 6x her revenue this year alone, without spending, 48, at least 48 days of the year, if not more. No, it was a multi-day launch. So it was just lots of time. Long story short, lots and lots of time. Yeah.
Listen to episode number 4 if you're curious. It's a great story. Her product is fantastic, and definitely a story worth listening to. So listen to the next episode if you're curious.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I know this story kind of has a very classic arc of like happy ending, but I feel like which it does. It's great. But I feel like we'd be remiss not to kind of discuss some of the struggles. I know we alluded to kind of what kept you going during some of the low points, but I know in some of our messaging you very candidly say that at one point you had $50,000 in consumer credit card debt, and no one knew about it because obviously that's money's hard, money's a source of shame, lots tied up in that. So can you speak to what was going on in that moment, some of the other struggles you faced, and kind of just the mindset work that you had to do to continue on?
Yeah. It's funny, actually. I used to be the person who was like, oh, okay, mindset, great. Like, okay, you heal your mindset. I just want the strategies to make this work. And now I can actually tell you that mindset stuff is actually pretty essential. But yes, I'm glad you asked that, because I don't want to forget to mention that, because yes, there are the struggles of like, this isn't working. And that is frustrating, certainly. But when you have on top of that, like, I can't figure out what's working, on top of the fact, like, oh, but also I've gone all in on this business and it's not working, which means that I'm not bringing money in, but I still have to have money going out, and I am clearly have been a professional copywriter, still consider myself a professional copywriter, but in 2018, I think it was probably right about the beginning of 2018, as I was going, all right, if it's possible to make this business, I'm gonna lean into this. So I scaled back. I don't think I was working on staff at a company. I think maybe that ended 2016, but still, I have never had a problem. Or this is for our copywriting students as well. It's perfectly possible to make 6 figures and beyond as a freelance copywriter. Absolutely. And so I never had a problem with that. But I knew that I couldn't be doing the work for my clients and also be focusing on the business. So really around about the beginning of 2018, I stepped back from almost all of my clients and stopped doing outreach, stopped trying to bring in new clients so that I could focus on the business, because I thought, well, if I can just focus on it, like the focus was the problem. It's not the tactics, it's the focus that's the problem, which obviously I know now it was the tactics. But yeah, so I didn't have much money coming in, but I still had to live. So I did get to the point where it was a full $55,000 on a credit card. That was really, it's not like I was doing anything wild or crazy. It was living expenses, and I'm sure some business expenses as well, but it was very stressful. And the only thing that kept me going, because I frankly, I know a lot of business owners who have been there and who are kind of just starting to come out of that. The thing that kept me going was like, I know that it's possible for this to work. I just have to figure out the system. I know that this is a good product. I know that it helps people. I know that people need this. I just have to figure out how to get it to them, how to sell it to them. how to get it in their hands. I know that there are people out there who want this, even if they don't know that they want it yet. I know that once I explain this to them, they'll be like, oh yeah, actually, I really do want that. Which I think is a lot of our copywriting students. So many of them will say, like, I didn't know what copywriting was before I found your ads and your videos and all that stuff. I knew that it worked. So it was almost a little bit of, I don't want to say delusion, because it clearly wasn't, but it was like, all right, yes, is this 55,000 painful? And no, nobody knew about that. I don't even know if I've told my parents to this day. And I live alone. So it's single income. So it's not even like I got into credit card debt, but my husband or my boyfriend or whatever, we were kind of living, it was just me. So all of the funds, which is another special level of stress. But I knew that there had to be a way to make it work. And if I could just figure it out, like, yes, it was stressful. And I definitely woke up in the middle of the night, probably every night for 6 months with that, like, oh my God, $55,000. And it did work. There was a way. And I was able to pay that credit card off actually very, very quickly once I got the circuit going for the Comprehensive Copywriting Academy. Yeah. But it was stressful and it was painful, and I have certainly been there. So if other people are going, well, okay, well, you figured things out and then it was success from there, certainly, and that's wonderful, and I'm so grateful for that. But I did absolutely experience that low point of going, oh my God, I am really in the hole here. Paying off $55,000, I couldn't even think about it, because it's, when you think of that, paying off $55,000, that's a multi-year thing for the average non-business owner. Or some business owners, that's a multi-year thing to pay it off. And so I had to just focus on the business, but that certainly would stress me out and wake me up in the middle of the night. And the good thing was, or the kind of amazing thing was, is that it wasn't a multi-year pay it off. Once I got the circuit going, I was able to pay it off in a matter of months.
Yeah. So when people talk about the secret to success, persistence, it's a perfect example of it.
Yeah. Persistence, the continuing to just show up and know that if I keep doing something and doing the right things too, evaluating what other people were saying, and then going, but everybody's saying do this, but actually I know the way that people operate, and I know that that's not going to work. So it's absolutely, persistence is the key. And then just truly evaluating what people are saying and what tactics you are going to get. I think I said this in a previous episode, but the online business world is an echo chamber of bad advice. People are sharing things that they've heard. They don't know whether it works or not, but they're sharing it. And there are a lot of people, there's actually an Alex Hormozy quote, but it has a swear in it, and we want to keep this G, so I won't mention it. But he's talking about the fact that most people are talking about stuff that they haven't actually done, and they're giving advice and stuff that they haven't actually done, and that is very, very true. It's unfortunate, but it's very true.
Yeah. And I love what you said, looking at what works, because I feel like you'd be insane if you kept pursuing your business, doing the same tactics that you knew didn't work, but felt like should work. So I think that is a key difference.
But so many of us do, because
you think,
because you're told that that's what works. Well, you have to live launch, you have to do this, you have to, and then it also too becomes the sunk cost of like, well, I've been doing this for so long, and everybody says that it works. I have to just keep doing this. When you actually go, if you look at it, you go, oh, it's never actually worked. So it's not a matter of doing it more often. It's a matter of evaluating your tactics, and maybe not listening to what everybody says you have to do.
Which sounds easy, but yes, super hard to block out and lean into something that maybe everyone else, in your case, no one else was doing. So
yeah, very difficult.
Yeah.
very difficult, but you have to,
Right.
you owe it to your business. I've been
Mm-hmm.
having some calls with our CSS students and just, asking questions about the program, what they like about it, and what they, and always when I say, did you have any hesitations before purchasing the program? Everyone, we do get some people who are like, no, I just hopped right in, which I love and any business owner loves that, right? But what we most often hear is, well, yeah, because I've purchased other programs
Mm-hmm.
and they haven't worked.
Yeah.
But and I get that because I certainly have purchased programs. There are a couple of programs that I think back on and I still have like anger toward those programs because they were so bad, But that's the thing is you can't give up on your business.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. Even and that's what they've all said too is that yeah, they hesitated because they had purchased programs that didn't work, but when they heard our messaging, they went, all right, well that makes a lot of sense. But also like, what are you going to do? Give up on your business and just give up?
Yeah.
That's not. None of us got into business to give up, right? We all got into business to help people, to change lives and to change other people's lives and to change our own lives and
Yeah.
to experience that freedom and that fulfillment and that some days certainly frustration, but often the joy of getting to do what we want to do and to help other people. And you owe it to yourselves and you owe it to your business not to give up on it, to
Yeah.
keep trying. The Even if things haven't worked in the past, try something else.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what's gotten people into our program, which is exactly the kind of people we want to be working with, right? That's the kind of community that we're building, which I'm delighted to be in the Facebook group and to see everybody helping each other and giving ideas. And I love that. We've developed that in our other courses and I'm so excited to see it here too. And that's the kind of community we build of people who are going, all right, I am dedicated to my business
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to put in, like, I'm not going to pretend that it's easy to build a multi 7-figure per year business. It's certainly not. You have to do some work,
Mm-hmm.
But if you're willing to do the work, then you can get the results that you want. Yeah.
Yeah. And not having to go it alone,
Yeah.
which is nice. It's great.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
tough. It's
Yeah.
a very good point. It's
Yeah.
really tough to be out there and on your own and doubting yourself and yeah, and not sure of who to listen to and who not listen. Even if you're in a Facebook group of whomever, it's you don't know what's true, what isn't true, what they've tried that actually works, what they've tried. Yeah, it's tough out there.
Mm-hmm.
It absolutely is. Yeah.
So I'm curious, what's next? Where's Nicki K Media? This is a personal question for me.
Well,
Where's my job going?
I'm gonna say I'm laughing a little bit because you're curious. It's a good question, but no.
For our listeners who
For
don't
our
know
listeners.
the Nicki K Media 5-year plan.
Yes. Oh my goodness, 5-year plan. We're
2-year
doing
plan.
so
Yeah,
much on a regular
yes,
basis.
I know. Yeah.
And that's part of the thing because we don't have to worry about the sales. We can focus on the bigger elements. But obviously,
Awesome.
we are recording this at this moment, and so we'll have by the time this launches. Created the podcast that goes along with the circuit sales system, and that will also go along with another
Smart.
upcoming course that is kind of works in tandem with the circuit sales system, kind of complementary as you're getting the sales in and your business starts to grow. How do you manage that growth and how do all that kind of thing? So I don't tease that just a little bit because we're working on that. And then also we're planning out, like we were saying, for our other students or other brands, we have live events for them. We have special events for them. We have special just more ways to support our circuit sales system students and more ways to help them be successful. That's I think to our team's credit. That's always one of our top priorities. Obviously, building the business and taking care of all of our team members, but at the same time, one of our, if not the top priority, is making sure that our students are successful. Because when our students are successful, we are successful. We don't want to just sell courses and be like, peace out. Best of luck to you. We got your cash now. We want to sell courses, and we want people to be massively successful. We want people to be like, oh my gosh, you did this course changed my life. Or, oh my gosh, I went from struggling in my business to now making, XYZ amount, whatever your goal is. We are very dedicated to helping our students in all of our brands be as absolutely successful as they can be. And we're always looking for new ways to make that possible and to support them in that. We obviously we give you the support, we give you it's certainly on the students to take the action. We always say that, but we give as much support and as much training and as much as we possibly can, because we want everyone to hit all of the goals that they come in with, and quite frankly, exceed them.
Well said. I couldn't put a better ending on what's next. So thank you for sharing your story, and for sharing, some of the less stellar moments that I think are helpful for everyone to hear. That's the reality. It's not always sunshine and rainbows and unicorns, but that there's ways to do what you want to do and accomplish your goals. So I think it's hopeful, it's exciting. I hope listeners, you're excited by the opportunities. I know you've said this on previous episodes, but you knew if other people could do it, you could do it. And I think that same goes for anyone listening, that, it's possible, which is just really cool. So with that, we will catch everyone in the next episode.
Thanks for tuning in. Do you want to learn how to sell and scale your offer on autopilot every single day without the chaos of live launching or the low conversions of Evergreen? Who doesn't, right? Get our free on-demand video training at circuitsalessystem.com/free. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to this channel to make sure you never miss a video. We'll catch you next time.